I'm going to give just a minute or so to let people filter in a bit. Okay, I think we have a quorum. Thank you everybody for joining us in our latest edition of the quarterly product update here at Progress Chef. We're glad you could all join. I think in the future, maybe we'll have some music in the background or something while we wait for people to filter in. In any case, we have a full agenda today. So we will start by talking about some exciting initiatives we have going on with AIOps, and then we will transition into some updates with our core products, specifically some releases we've had with both Chef 360 and InSpec, and we'll follow it up with a Q&A. It doesn't look like a lot of bullet points here, but within these, there's a lot of things to show that we're very excited about, and we hope you'll feel the same way. So I'm Stephen Blankenship. I'm the Director of Product Management here for Chef, so I'm responsible for pretty much every product that comes across the board here. And I'm going to be joined by my principal product managers, Nishal and Aditya. Nishal will be taking us through, again, some of the exciting initiatives we have going on with AIOps and our recent purchase and integration with the Nuclear platform. And Aditya will be talking about some of the releases we've recently done and the advantages of those going forward. With that, Nishal, I will hand it over to you.
Thanks, Stephen. Hello, everyone. My name is Nishal Reddy. I work as a principal product manager in Chef product team. And today I'll be talking about our Chef AIOps initiatives. Chef AIOps is not a single product, but it's a set of new initiatives that we have started working on. And I'll be talking about two initiatives. One is OpsSmith, which is a product that can help you go from prompt to working automation script in a very short period of time. And then the second initiative is Upgrade Labs, which can help you upgrade your older versions of cookbooks to the latest version. So let's get started with, if I can get to the next slide, OpsSmith, right? So let's see how IT ops and system administrators and DevOps teams create automation scripts today, right? So we have to spend time researching solutions, writing scripts, testing those scripts in different operating systems. And if we run into any errors, we fix those errors, and then finally you deploy them onto your test, systems. And then if it is successful in test, you then promote it to staging and production, right? So then when we started working on OpsSmith, we started thinking if there's a better way to do this, right? So that's where we have come up with an intelligent automation tool for ops teams. So the idea is, how can we help the ops teams go from an intent to automation in minutes or maybe hours? And this is how it works. So you can define your automation requirements in natural language. You can specify what you want to accomplish. And OpsSmith can take your intent that is defined in natural language, and it can think and it can strategize, and then it can generate a script it can then execute that script either in a sandbox nodes, or it can execute in your test nodes, and it can provide you a working script. If there are any errors in that process, it can automatically learn from those errors and correct them. And at the end, it provides you a working automation script. So once you have that automation script, you can actually review the script, make any changes to the script, and then you can decide to deploy it on your test servers or staging servers, and then eventually promote it to production servers. So OpsSmith is powered by, as you could imagine, AI, specifically LLMs behind the scene. However, there is a clear separation between where the AI agent runs, either in a sandbox that we provide in our progress maintained infrastructure or on your test instances. And you have full control over what is deployed onto your staging or production systems. You have a human in the loop. You can review the generated code. You can make any changes and then deploy it onto your infrastructure. So let's take these are some of the use cases that can be accomplished using OpsSmith. So more or less, these use cases align well with what Chef does today. You can do your server configuration. You can use it for patching. You can manage access control, user management, and so on and so forth. So what we'll do now is I will demonstrate OpsSmith with a simple use case. Let's say I have a task at hand to create an automation script to install a web server, configure it, and serve a web page, right? And I have 3 nodes in my infrastructure. The first is a test node, and then I have 2 production nodes. So let's see how we can accomplish this task using OpsSmith. So let me switch my screens and move to demo. So what you are seeing on the screen is an early version of OpsSmith. Right now, OpsSmith is in private alpha phase. We are working with select few customers to gather feedback and keep iterating on the product. So what you're currently seeing is OpsSmith is running on my local host. We have plans to first make this tool available as a SaaS solution, but we also have plans to eventually make it available for on-prem as an on-prem tool as well. So, but for this demo, I'm running this on my local host. And as you can see, I have 3 nodes already registered with OpsSmith. One of them is a test node, and 2 are production nodes. And in fact, all of these nodes are Ubuntu machines. And for this example, for the sake of simplicity, I'm actually running all these 3 nodes as Docker containers on my local host. But these nodes can be any nodes, be it virtual machines, on your on-prem, on your data center, or it can be, instances on, cloud, or it can be any VM. So with that, let's move on to the use case. So the use case that I have at hand is to, install a web server and configure it and then serve a sample web page, right? So let's see how we can do that. So you do that by specifying your task in natural language. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say install. I'm going to pick Nginx as the web server. I'll say install Nginx and serve. I'll say hello Chef users. I'll ask it to serve a sample page. And you know what? I want to impress you guys. So I'll ask it to make the styling of this page look like really good. Let's see what happens. So I'll ask it to make the styling of the page look exceptional, right? I mean, you can provide more context. I'm just trying to keep the example simple here, but you can provide more context around what exact configurations that you want to make, or if you have a web application on a Git repo that you want to, deploy as part of and serve as part of this script, you can add more context. But I'm going to keep it simple. And you can then specify where you want to, generate and run and test this script. So we are planning to provide, sandboxes in progress managed infrastructure. That is something that we're actually working on. But you can also bring in your own test nodes and, generate the script there. So what OpsSmith does is it not only generates the automation script for the task that you define here, but it actually executes the script on the target node, be it a sandbox or a test node that you bring in. And then if it runs into any issue, it is going to automatically correct the script and test the script again till it succeeds or till it reaches the maximum number of attempts. So anyways, so here we have defined the task in natural language. It's basically a prompt that we are sending it to the agent. So now we are going to, we have selected a test node. So we're going to hit generate and test, and let's see what happens. So as soon as you submit, it is going to start working on the task. It has started the first attempt. So each attempt has 4 steps. As you can see what's happening live, it has completed the first step and it has moved on to the second step. So first it is going to think and generate a plan on how it is going to accomplish this task. Once it generates the plan, it's going to use that plan to generate an automation script. And then, once the automation script is generated, it's going to execute that script on the node that we have selected. And once the execution is done, it's going to observe the output to determine if this task was successful or a failure. So we'll see in a second what happens. So the first attempt failed. So I deliberately picked a node and a scenario where it fails because I wanted to demonstrate what happens when it fails. So as you can see, as soon as it failed, it started the second attempt. Before we look into what is happening in the second attempt, let's first see what has happened in the first attempt and why it failed, right? So first it thought and came up with a plan. So this is the plan it generated. So as you can see, we basically selected a test node, but the agent was automatically detected that it's running on a Linux machine. And because it is a Linux machine, it is going to use apt package manager, and it's basically proposing to create a bash script because it's a Linux machine. It's basically also telling you how it is going to accomplish this task. It's going to update the package repository, it's going to install Nginx, and so on and so forth, right? So a plan is basically, your requirements document or your pseudocode, if you will. Since it generated the plan, it then, as you can see, the attempt 2 is already successful. We'll get to that in a moment, but let's see what has happened in the attempt 1, right? So it generated the plan. Using that plan, it generated an automation script, which is a bash script. So this is the final script it generated. If you look at the code, I'm not going to go through the whole code, but I want you to pay attention to one single line here. It's basically using systemctl or system utility to start Nginx as a service. This is again the standard way of managing services on Linux machines. However, like I said in the beginning, I'm running these nodes as Docker containers on my local machine. And as you could imagine, Docker containers are minimal environments. They typically don't have systemd installed. And hence, the execution is going to fail because this command is not found. Again, I deliberately picked a scenario where it fails because I wanted to demonstrate what happens when it fails. Ideally, if it was a proper VM, it would have been successful in the first attempt itself. So when it tried to execute the script, it managed to install Nginx and do all the rest of the steps, but it failed when it tried to run the systemctl command to start Nginx as a service, right? And the agent observed the output and determined that, okay, this task failed. Since the first attempt failed, it started the second attempt. The difference is in the second attempt, it actually knows what has happened in the previous attempt. So it's basically saying, it failed because, this system utility was not installed, and hence the systemctl command was not found, right? So we just need to figure out some alternative ways of, starting Nginx and managing Nginx service, right? So it basically generated updated plan based on the failures that it saw in the previous attempt. So it generated the updated script. Now, if we look at the script, it has modified the script. Instead of using systemctl, it's using service command. In fact, now it has even added checks. It's basically checking if service command is there, then it is using service command. If not, it's basically directly running Nginx binary. So now it has executed the updated script, and this time it was successful. And even the agent is saying that it is successful. We can verify if it is indeed successful or not. So I have a SSH session into the node. So I'm going to first check if Nginx is installed. Nginx is indeed installed. This is the version. Now it is also supposed to serve a sample web page. Let's curl and see if it is serving the page. So it is indeed serving the page. If you remember, I've asked it to make this page look good. Let's see how good it is. So I'm going to open this on my browser. There you go. Some fancy animation. So the key thing is, although this example is like pretty simple, we went from a task at hand to a working automation script in a matter of what, like 5 minutes. And this is the final working script that it generated. And if you remember, this script was generated on a test node. Now, if you want, you can submit this script as a new task, and you can deploy it onto your production systems. I just need to hit submit as a new task, and it opens the script in an editor. You can make any changes, you can review the code, and then you can submit this for execution on your production systems. You can either submit it to run immediately, or you can also schedule it to run at as a recurring job, or you can also do advanced orchestration to do blue-green kind of a deployment or gradual rollout, and so on and so forth. So the whole deployment aspect is powered by Chef Courier, which is the orchestration engine behind OpsSmith. So OpsSmith is actually built on top of a lot of existing Chef ecosystem and Chef platform. So this is a very brief demo. Let me move back to my slides. If you have any questions, please keep sending the questions through the Q&A section. We'll take them towards the end. So what we just saw is, we went from having human, do all the tasks to AI agent doing much of the work for us. We were able to go from the task at hand to a working automation script that can be deployed at scale in a matter of minutes. So where are we right now? We are currently in a private alpha. We are working with a select few customers who are interested to try this, and we are trying to get feedback and trying to try their use cases. So if you are interested to try this, I would highly recommend you to visit opsmith.ai, and you can register for early access, and I will personally get back to you, and we can work with you to get access to this tool to try it in your environment, try and get some feedback, and you can get early access to this tool before anyone else. So this is the first initiative that I wanted to present. This is something that we are currently working on, and we have released a private alpha release, and we are really excited for you to give it a try and provide us feedback. So please visit the website and drop in your email, and I'll get back to you. So with that, let me move on to the next initiative under Chef AIOps. So here we are working on initiative called Upgrade Labs. So what is Upgrade Labs? So Upgrade Labs is essentially your handy tool that can help you upgrade from older versions of cookbooks to newer versions. So this is a recurring, feedback that we hear from a lot of chef customers saying, hey, you know what, it's very hard for us to keep up with infra-client releases. We have to keep updating cookbooks, and it's making it hard for us to be on the latest version. And that's the reason why we we embarked on this journey to create a tool that can help make it super easy for you to upgrade your older versions of cookbooks. And this is actually built on top of Progress Agentic RAG. This is a new product that Progress acquired. So as you could imagine, the LLMs are inherently not very good at Chef or similar domain-specific languages and tools. So we need to teach LLMs to get good at languages like Chef, right? Tools like Chef. So this is where Progress Agentic RAG can help you, provide additional data sources and use, retrieval augmented generation as an approach to make LLMs generate better quality chef cookbooks that execute in real world, right? So we use Progress Agentic RAG to build a Progress Expert Agent that is really good at upgrading your older versions of cookbooks to the latest version. So I have a small recorded demo. This is not a live demo that I will be presenting to demonstrate how Upgrade Labs works. So let me hit play and let's get started. So here I have a small example where I'm using, one of my cookbooks, which is quite outdated. It's called User Cookbook. It's basically used for managing users on my machine. So basically, it's like pretty old. What I did is I uploaded the cookbook onto my Upgrade Labs tool, and then it basically, oops, I'm sorry, yeah. So it basically presented me with it analyzed the cookbook, and then it realized that it is out of date, and then it is asking me which version of infra client I want to make this cookbook compatible with. And then it has also detected which operating systems it supports. And it is also giving me an option to pick and choose which operating systems I want to test this cookbook in. And then it's also providing me an option to pick which test suits, kitchen test suits I want to execute after the upgrade process is done. So it's not merely generating a new version of cookbook, but it actually, once it generates the cookbook, it is going to execute that cookbook on one of the target operating systems that you select, and it can actually run the kitchen tests that you select after the upgrade process is done. So here I've selected Ubuntu as my target operating system, and then I had a bunch of test suites. I've selected one of those test suites, and I will now click on the start upgrade process, which will kickstart the process for upgrading this cookbook to the latest version. So first, it's going to analyze the cookbook. In this step, what it is doing is it's actually running cookstyle to check if there are any errors. So it found like 10 issues. So then what it is going to do is it's going to remediate those issues. It's going to generate a new version of cookbook to fix those issues. So right now it is generating that. It may take a couple of seconds to generate the new version of the cookbook. Let's give it a couple of seconds. So it is done generating the cookbook. Now, since it has completed generating the cookbook, it is again running cookstyle to see if there are any errors in the generated cookbook. So there are no issues in the new version of the cookbook. So now it is running kitchen tests on the selected operating system to check if it the new cookbook is going to pass the tests or not. If required, it's going to generate a new test kitchen configuration, or in fact, test suites as well if they are out of date, or if they're using some older versions of resources, it's going to update them as well. And then it's going to run kitchen converge to run the tests on the selected operating system. So the kitchen tests were successful, and now we have the final cookbook that is upgraded. Now you can take this cookbook, and then you can do one round of review. You can have human in the loop. You can review the code. You can then you can put it as part of your existing pipeline, or you can directly deploy this using InfraServer. So Upgrade Labs, we believe, can help you accelerate your process of migration to latest versions of InfraClient, or just in case if you have any cookbooks that are quite outdated and you want to upgrade, you can use this tool to bring it to the latest version. So right now we are also accepting any users who are willing to try this. We are in very early stages of this tool. So if you're interested to try, please, we have a survey will be running. So you can express your interest there, or you can even leave a message in the Q&A section. We'll get in touch with you. Just trying to summarize, right? So in Chef AIOps initiatives, these are a couple of major initiatives that we're working on. OpsSmith is basically, it can help you go from an intent to automation really fast, and then Upgrade Labs can help you upgrade your cookbooks in a very short period of time. OpsSmith right now supports generation of Bash and PowerShell scripts, but we are also working on actually supporting Chef cookbooks as well. So you can actually describe your intent in natural language, and we can actually generate Chef cookbooks or even inspect profiles for that, or even kitchen tests, right? That is something that we're actually working on, and that will be releasing pretty soon. So that's pretty much from my end. I hope you found both the initiatives interesting. And like I said, if you're interested, please visit opsmith.ai, and you can join, you can register for early access. Or if you're interested in Upgrade Labs, please drop a message in Q&A section, or we'll be running a survey towards the end. You can express interest there as well. With that, I will hand it over to Aditya, who will be giving us an update on Chef 360 latest release 1.5. Aditya, over to you.
Thank you, Nishchal. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. This is Aditya here. I am one of the principal product managers working with Progress Chef. I want to quickly talk about a couple of releases that we have recently had. So I'll start off with the Chef 360 1.5. This release focused majorly on an SSO support, and we are supporting SAML at this point in time, and LDAP support is going to come eventually. And currently the SSO support is invite based, wherein if somebody wants to kind of try this out, please let us know and we can invite you to start using the SSO. And as part of this release, there have been other housekeeping activities like backend performance optimization, and we have also added a UI for the low-code Ansible interpreter, right? So the Ansible interpreter will help you run some of the Ansible playbooks should you need to run those. And we have also kind of enhanced some of the user experience aspects, right? Like the logout, which had a few issues in the past, has been corrected. Okay, why does this matter to you, right? All this comes together for a seamless and an improvised Chef 360 experience. SSO is something that we've heard as a feedback from many initial users, and that has kind of taken shape and is kind of being rolled out in the product. And the performance improvements are something that we are constantly keeping an eye on, and this is something that we promise to ensure that there are significant performance improvements as we go through the journey. And there have been some UI bug fixes which we are pretty confident will enhance the user experience and would increase the adoption of the Chef 360 as a platform. Okay, what are the benefits that you're going to reap out of the Chef 360 1.5? You could onboard your users much faster and in a much secured way, right? Which is going to be a huge benefit for organizations which have a huge number of Chef users. So you will not have to create the users manually, and you could use the SSO to kind of bring the users on board in a much faster way. And apart from those, we have essentially smoothened out or made some of the operations more reliable and the user experience much more much more towards what we anticipate our users to be liking, right? So that's one of the things that we are hoping that it brings as a benefit in this release. Okay, now coming back to the second release that we've had an InSpec 7 minor release, and this particular release is available as a habitat package and as a gem at this point in time, right? And we are in the process of building native installers around the InSpec 7 and also provide some kind of migration tooling like what we have done for the Chef 19. And you would have seen that if you have been part of the Chef 19 early access programs that were conducted. I think there were 2 iterations back in the day. So if you were part of that, so you would have some exposure towards the migration tool. So we intend to bring out a migration tool for InSpec 7 as well, along with the native installers. Okay, so what's new in InSpec 7? As part of InSpec 7, there have been 4 major updates, right? So we have modularized the resource packs. So until InSpec 6, all the resource packs were bundled in the core InSpec, right? And if at all we had to introduce a new resource pack, or if we had to fix any issue within one of the resource packs, we had to go through the whole release cycle for the InSpec. But going forward, that's not going to be the case. The InSpec 7 core module is kind of bifurcated, and it's kind of kept separate from the resource packs. So resource packs will have a lot more flexibility and easier to maintain and upgrade. As part of licensing, I'm sure many of you would have um, seen some documentation or read some blogs or seen some videos about InSpec 6 having licensing. So based on some of the feedback, we have made licensing as an optional capability during the execution time. So in case you're not provided your licensing information, things will not break. But provided you have gotten the InSpec from the official resources or the official channels, right? So the official channels would be the download portal, the Habitat package, and the Ruby gem. Sorry, not the Ruby gem, Habitat package and the download portal at this point in time. But any other forms, you would need to provide licensing for execution to run seamlessly. And we have come up with a private Ruby gems for premium resource packs. So most of the enterprise customers would be eligible for the premium resource packs that will be hosted privately and managed by Chef. Some of the premium resource packs that we are anticipating to roll out in the near future are going to be pertaining to CSPM or cloud security posture management related resource packs. And finally, we have upgraded the Ruby to 3.4, right? And this is essentially to future-proof our product. And we have mitigated a whole bunch of CVs along with InSpec 7. Okay, why does all this matter to you, right? Modularized resource packs will essentially help you pick and choose only those resource packs that matter to you the most. This will ensure that if there are any issues or bugs or security vulnerabilities with other resource packs, you're essentially not affected. And a private Ruby gem or an enterprise resource pack will kind of deliver or will kind of provide those resource packs which are of enterprise grade, and you could use that with a lot of peace of mind, right? And this is going to be supported extensively by Progress. License execution, basically when you download the InSpec from official distribution like the download portal or the Habitat package, you will not be looking at license enforcement or entitlement checks during runtime. And this is based on some of the feedback that we have got from some of the enterprise customers in the past. And as we have upgraded Ruby to 3.4, we assure enterprise stability, and along with this comes our promise of long-term support, right? So with Ruby 3.4 upgrade, we are not anticipating many breaking changes in the near future, and this could be all the way until 3 years from now. We briefly spoke about some of the benefits about InSpec 7, but yeah, some of the benefits that I really want to highlight again is faster updates and reduced maintenance overheads. It's going to be easy to manage and secured way of distribution for premium resource packs. And we are also going to be flexible in terms of enterprise ready compliance for commercial distribution. Improved performance and resiliency is backed by the modern Ruby foundation. So please, if you are interested in trying out the InSpec 7, reach out to us and we can sign you up for some of the early access programs. And we are anticipating the download portal and the migration tool to be available sometime in Q1 of 2026. Okay, in the upcoming launches section, I just want to highlight what we are, where we are with the InSpec 7. So in the InSpec 7, like I mentioned, we have released the Habitat packages at this point in time. and there is a Ruby gem that is available, but that is gated. So if you want to use the Ruby gem, you will have to provide the license to start using them. And as I mentioned, in Q1 of 2026, the migration tool will be available along with the native installers. And this will also be supported by download APIs, download portal, installation scripts, and we'll be providing the additional resource packs at the time of rollout. With that, I hand it over to Stephen or Nischal.
All right. I think with that, we are done with the slides for this session, and we can get into the Q&A. So you'll be able to send any questions that you have in the question section. You can drop your questions. I will bring them up one by one, and we'll be able to answer live. So I already see a few questions pop up. So let me take them one by one. So the first question I have is on OpsSmith. So the question is it the intent that you're going to create a cookbook that is executed on demand? But can it be added to a run list and get into expected state, and that chef runs it regularly to ensure the state remains okay? Yeah. So that's a good question, right? Can OpsSmith only generate either cookbook or an automation script that can be executed on demand, or can it actually be used with the chef paradigm, where you create a cookbook and you add it to run list, and then chef takes care of the desired state management? So like I said in my demonstration, right now OpsSmith supports generating bash and PowerShell scripts, but we are working on supporting cookbooks as well. But regardless of what kind of automation script it is, you can actually use OpsSmith to run the automation script at regular intervals, or it can be scheduled to run nightly, or once in a month, or you can also do advanced orchestration to do a blue-green kind of a deployment. Apart from that, you can also use the generated cookbooks with the chef paradigm, right? So once you have the cookbook generated, you can also add it to your run list, and then from that point on, the infra client will be able to make sure that the desired state is maintained. Every time client run happens, the cookbooks in the run list will be executed. So yeah, you can also do that. So like I said, we are working on cookbook support. So once we have that, we'll be able to support this scenario as well. So I have one more question, a couple of more questions in the chat. Let me, I have one more comment saying they're interested to try this and asking to sign up. We'll definitely reach out to you. And one more question on Cookbook Labs, Cookbook upgrade process. So this is really, it's a really good question. And in fact, this is something that we got from one of our existing customers, and we are exploring how to resolve that as well. So the question is, does a cookbook upgrade process allow you to hook it into a GitHub repo, Git repo? So when you want to test a new chef version, it can pull the current cookbook based on a branch or a tag, which then automatically triggers a process to create a new version of cookbook, and then it creates a PR back into the repo with those updates, right? So instead of running this whole thing from a UI, manually downloading the cookbook, can it be hooked into a CI/CD process, right? This is the exact use case we heard from one of our early users as well, and we have been working with them to make this run as a background process. So we'll be happy to talk to you on what is the direction that we are taking to solve this scenario. But this is something that we are actively exploring to solve, and this is something that we intend to solve as well, because we all are very aware that a lot of our Chef users use Chef for its code first approach, and consequently, having this as part of your pipelines can help, tie it into your existing process. So this is something that we are actively working on resolving. So I have one more question asking, does the tool that converts the cookbook provide a diff instead of just the web page? it in fact does provide a diff. I did in my demo recording, I have a video, so I can't show you live. But if you, we did not expand all the sections. If you expand the section, it can actually show you the difference of, diff between the old and what aspects of the cookbook it has actually changed. You can actually look at what cook style errors it encountered, and then once it upgrades the cookbook, you can actually look at what lines did it change. And maybe I'll use this opportunity to actually call out a small nuance. So during the upgrade process, it does not rewrite the whole cookbook. It only modifies the sections where it finds any issues. So it only basically changes the parts of the code that requires change. It does not upgrade the whole thing or update the whole code. Okay, so one more question. Which skills are on the horizon? Happy that Ansible is there. Something like Terraform, Python, etc. I will take a stab at answering this, but I'll also yield some time to Stephen to also pitch in. So yeah, like Ansible was one of the things that was in our horizon, is something that we've supported, and we're getting good feedback on that. And in terms of Python, since we support the shell skill, you can, as long as Python is installed on that node, you'll be able to run that. But I think Python is something that's supporting Python as a native skill is in our backlog. I think that is something that we may support in the near future. But I'll also yield some time to Stephen to take a stab at answering this question. So what new skills are on horizon, Stephen?
Yeah, I mean, Python as a language is kind of interesting. I think we are focusing on skills that are in the genre of automation and management first. So certainly, as Nishal said, Ansible and any of the prolific tools like that. But Ansible is definitely kind of number one on the hit list. I think moving on, we will also focus on skills that have more to do with ephemeral environments and containers. So in fact, we'd be looking for you in the community out there to give us feedback on, what is the, what are the things that could use with the most automation with regard to some of the more ephemeral environments as we look to automate across entire fleets in the way we've done already in the recent past and going forward. We want to be the fleet automation service that covers everything from, your external cloud, whether it be GCP or AWS, or internal cloud, or internal VMs and internal hardware. We look at the whole fleet in that way, and even going out to some networking devices with agentless, which I think was in a previous session we did, but we definitely want to refresh that going into 2026. So yeah, I mean, while some languages, like especially the interpreted languages, would be something we could approach, I think automation is our bread and butter. Automation across fleets is where we want to stand, and of course, the ephemeral environments are growing with containerization on a daily basis. So we definitely want to address those so that you can just use our tool across your entire fleet, whatever technology you choose to adopt.
Okay, thanks, Stephen. So let me move on to next question. Also, just curious on when Chef Intro 19 will be GA, or a planned timeline for that rollout. I'll probably defer that question to Aditya.
Okay, thanks. We are currently looking at Q1, David. So the exact timelines are something that are being worked out. And by the end of this month, we should have better clarity on some dates around the exact timelines around Infra 19 GA. But tentatively, it's Q1.
Okay. Thanks, Aditya. I see one more question on what premium InSpec resources do we have on our horizon to support?
Okay, let me take that question. So currently we are looking at some of the cloud-oriented resource packs that to be part of the premium resources. But we are always open to hearing from customers. If you are really looking for any specific resource packs to support your ecosystem, please let us know. And we will kind of start working towards making those resource packs available.
Awesome. So another question on the same lines. So can you talk a little bit about what are the different licensing options and channels we have for using InSpec? I know, like the fact that some more context from the question is we made some minor changes to our licensing options. So I think it would be good to recap that. Yeah.
Sure, we support like 3 kinds of licenses: free, trial, and commercial license. And mostly license holders can download our binaries from our download portal, which forms our official distribution channel. And if you decide to download from the official distribution channel, uh, during the execution time, you will not be forced to provide a license for either an entitlement check or for execution. So that is taken care of. But during the execution time, if you are trying to download anything, like say, for example, a knife bootstrap or a kitchen converge, where you are trying to download the chef from our distribution APIs, and if you are connecting to Chef APIs, then you will have to provide license. Right? I mean, there are multiple ways in which you can provide the license as a parameter. We will be documenting those at the time of GA, and you could provide those if you're downloading from our Chef APIs. But if you have downloaded the binaries and placed it in your local Artifactory or in another location external to Chef, then you could always refer that without the need for providing any licensing, right? The only other time you might need a license if you are trying to execute premium resource packs with InSpec. You will need to furnish licensing, provided you are downloading the resource packs at real time or runtime from the Chef Ruby server, right? But if you have downloaded once and placed it on your local Artifactory or another location, you will again not have to provide those license details. I hope that answered the question.
Yep. So I don't see any other questions in chat. Yeah, I'd just like to reiterate that if you're interested to try any of our latest initiatives, be it OpsSmith or Upgrade Labs, you can directly express your interest by visiting opsmith.ai. Or for Upgrade Labs, you can leave a comment in the Q&A section and we'll get back to you. And we'll also be doing a post webinar survey. Feel free to also, we have a section where you can provide more feedback or even express interest if you want to try something. So Stephen, any last parting words?
Yeah, thanks for everybody for attending this quarter's version. These are your feedback on these and your questions are incredibly helpful with both informing us if we're going the right direction and shaping our future direction. And so we look forward to seeing you next quarter as well. And also on the feedback, any future product things that you'd like to see that we haven't shown yet, please include those for us. And again, me and the team, thank you very much. And we'll see you next quarter.
Thank you.